Thanks for joining on Zoom. And just a quick question for the Zoomers. Last week, when we were making the sounds, were you able to hear the sounds, or was Zoom kind of muting it when the sound started? So? Okay, because I have the audio like on low, so so that it's won't block out background noise as much. So so hopefully you can hear the sounds as we're making them. Okay, we got some thumbs up. Great, thank you.
You want to click on the sound musicians checkbox?
Yeah. Yeah, I find it's, yeah, the sound can be tricky on Zoom. So I just make it minimal blocking of the background noise. All right, so thanks everyone. And now let's begin. So we can tuck our thumbs into our fingers and let our hands rest on our thighs. And settle in, bringing our awareness to the three treasures. And you know, we typically begin with the body and then move to the breath and then go to the focus of the mind. So just so that we don't get too habituated to doing the same thing all the time, let's begin with our breath today. So maybe begin by taking a longer, slower, deeper breath and just feeling that sensation in the body. And just continuing on like that as you would like to. So if that's a couple more longer, slower, deeper breaths, or just settling into a nice breath rhythm, but really allowing the breath to bring the focus of the mind into the body. And as you become more aware of your body, then just tuning into that, tuning into sensations, what things feel like. And as you settle into what things feel like, just noticing the weight of your body, the weight of your skeleton. And then recruiting the breath as needed to bring awareness into certain areas of your body. If there's areas of held tension, you can invite your breath into those areas. If there's spaciousness and openness, you can invite your breath into those areas. And just settling in to the body and to the breath. Seeing if you can use the focus of your mind to breathe with your whole body. To just notice how and where the breath moves. allowing this exchange of qi, exchange of breath to take place between the universe and every cell of your body, every pore of your body. And whenever you're ready, you can bring your hands together and we can warm our hands up, preparing for our self-massage. Maintaining an awareness of the body and the breath. Maintaining an awareness of the body breathing. And together we can take a nice deep breath in. And exhaling, shaking it out. And again, with the whole body, breathing in. And out. And as you rub your hands together, you can take a moment and just massage one hand with the other. Just noticing how your hands feel. How do your knuckles feel? How do the bones of your fingers feel? Is there any stiffness? Do they feel light and limber? Do they feel a little heavy or congested? Just notice how things feel and attend to what they feel like with your awareness, with your touch, with your breath. And when you're ready, another deep breath in. Shaking it through, shaking it out, rubbing the palms together. Feel free to move, to wiggle, to just be alive. And then we can take our hands and massage our faces in whatever way feels good to you. I like to go up and out. But you can do different things. Different speeds. Different pressure. Just notice how it feels. How do you feel? And a deep breath. Freshening up. Charging up the chi, building some heat in the hands, and then taking the fingertips over the scalp. Exploring the whole surface area of the scalp. And take your time to find a way of doing this that feels really good. You know, like, I'm sure many of us have used those little metal wire things, the brain massagers. Like, those feel so good, you know? So can you find a way of doing this that feels like that? That's just, like, so good. It's nice to find new areas that feel really good. Right along the base of my skull here, like where the base of my skull and the top of my neck come together, Today, that feels really good. And there are probably other areas that feel really good. So it's nice to recognize that we have this ability to feel good. And whenever you're ready, your hands can slide down and around the base of the neck, and then a nice big breath in, shaking it out, rubbing the palms together, breathing, breathe with the whole body. And then we can take our palms, cup them over the eyes, gentle pressure to the eye sockets. Maybe look up and then look down and look straight forward and then over to the left and over to the right and forward again. And if you want, you can maybe make a circle in one direction with your eyes and then back the other direction with your eyes. Just seeing what that feels like. Getting a little stretch to the muscles around your eyes. Doing it gently. It might even cause a subtle sensation of dizziness, so not pushing it too hard, but recognizing that that's an area where we can find a little bit of stretch, a little bit of new sensation, a little bit of new information for our nervous systems, for our brains to just work with, to dance with. And then when you're ready, another deep breath in and shake it out. Rub your palms together. Massage your hands as you rub them together. And then let's activate Yin Tong, the acupoint in between the eyebrows, just pushing the base of the left hand and then drawing the hand across the forehead. And again, just feel. How does this feel? Does it feel good? If not, can you find a way of doing it that does feel good? And I just think it's so interesting, like, sensations, like things that feel good. It's like when you taste something that tastes good, it's like it's fresh and good and new in that moment, but it's like good is always good. It's like, it's timeless, ever present, and it's also totally fresh and new. Finding a way where this sensation feels good, nourishing, helpful, meaningful. And then when you're ready, another deep breath in and out. Massaging the hands, breathing. It's like when we consciously breathe, how the breath just feels fresh, cleaner, a little brighter somehow. Let's take the edge of our thumbs to the sides of our nose, and we can massage from the base of the nose up into the inner corner of the eyes. And if you want to hang out up near the inner corner of the eyes or down low, you can do that. If you want to go somewhere in between or back and forth, you can do that. And then deep breath in. Rubbing the palms together, breathing with the whole body. Breathe through the whole body. Let's take the tips of our thumbs on either side of our mouths. One hand below, one hand above, and massage your lips and your gums. Generate saliva in your mouth. Feel your teeth. The mouth is the beginning of our entire digestive tract. Some people's digestive systems, they move pretty slow. Some people's move pretty fast. So let's just help to regulate and bring some rhythm to our entire digestive systems. And a deep breath in and out. That generated a lot of saliva for you. You can swallow that down. Saliva is full of a lot of good digestive enzymes. Let's do our self-shoulder massage, beginning with the left arm up to the right shoulder. And alternating, taking your time, letting gravity do most of the work. Bring some intention into your hand as it swings up and lands on your shoulder. And just see, does that change anything? Does that change how things feel? Does that change the quality of the sound that your hand makes when it lands on your shoulder? Are you still breathing? Let's do one more on each side, and then a deep breath in and out. Rubbing the palms together and breathing. And then let's open our chests up. Different than we did it last week, just to keep it fresh. So making a beak with the right hand, finding the hollow space under the left collarbone. Left fingertips follow the right rib cage down until you drop into a little hollow space, and then we can tap these two spots. And feel free to make small circles as you're tapping. Remember to breathe. The lower hand is kind of halfway on the ribs and halfway on the abdomen. And again, make small circles. You might find that for you, maybe more of the sensation shows up on the abdomen, or maybe more of it shows up on the rib cage. Explore. Find out what it feels like for you now. And as you settle into these 2 points, you might also tune into the space in between these 2 points and breathe into that space. See if you can bridge the gap between these 2 points with your breath. And then whenever you're ready, you can kind of transition into just gentle patting and then maybe gentle massaging. Feeling feeling what shows up in your chest, around your heart, your solar plexus. And then let's change sides. So left fingertips under the right collarbone, right fingertips follow the base of the left rib cage down, and then we can tap gently. Different sides can feel quite different. Like my right shoulder area feels way different than my left shoulder area when I'm tapping it. So just noticing that. Feeling these 2 points, feeling the space in between these 2 points. And as you're ready, transitioning to gently patting and then maybe just massaging. And when you're ready, a deep breath in and out. Rubbing the palms together, breathing. And then we can bring our hands onto the lower ribs and massaging the lower ribs and onto the belly. And maybe one hand comes over the chest and the other hand stays over the belly. And maybe whichever hand is on top becomes the lower hand. Maybe the hands come together, going in one direction and then going the other direction, just to see, does one direction feel better than the other direction? If it does, then, do the one that feels good. And as you're ready, your hands can move around your waist to the area of your lower back, your lower ribs, your kidneys, and your sacroiliac joint. And then we can draw the hands out, shake them out. Rubbing the palms together and breathing. And then massaging the arms, beginning with the left arm, a little tap to the fingertips, and then up the outside and down the inside. Try different speeds, try different amounts of pressure. Feel what it feels like. Maybe it doesn't necessarily feel good or bad, it just is. Feel what that feels like. And we can come up one more time and then down. Changing sides. Up the outside, down the inside. And let's come up one more time and then down. Big breath in. and out. And you can bring your feet out in front of you. And if you're sitting in a chair, you can either bend over to your feet or bring one foot up across your knee or just massage your knee joints themselves. Massaging the top and the bottom of the feet, massaging the top and the bottom, or the front and the back and the sides of the knee joints. And you can rub, you can squeeze, you can pinch, you can poke. Lots of different ways of applying massage. So try different ways. Do something that you don't normally do. Try something different. And then whenever you're ready, you can follow the funnel down on the bottom of the foot or the funnel on the back side of the knee and finding the deepest hollow and just applying some gentle pressure there and tune in. Allow the focus of your mind to go to where you're applying your pressure. And then from here, we can bring the hands up the inside of the legs and around the hips and down the outside. And again, experiment with different levels of pressure, different speeds. And let's come up one more time, and then around and down and out. Big breath in. Shake it out. Rubbing the palms together one last time for now. Feel what your hands feel like as you rub them together. Breathe with your whole body. Notice your alignment, the movement of your breath. And then you can return to a comfortable posture, tucking the thumbs back into the fingers, letting the hands rest back on the thighs, and just take a moment. Return to the three treasures. The body and the alignment of the body, the breath and the movement of the breath, the mind and the focus and the quality of the mind. And whenever you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. Right. Great. Any questions about anything? We did the 6 sounds therapy last week, so we're going to practice that again. The way we did it last week is just a little different than the way we've done it in the past. So hopefully that's not too problematic for anyone. And if you were to, the 6 sounds therapy is one of those forms, kind of like the 8 pieces of brocade and even the Yi Jin Jing, the tendon transformation Qigong that we've done. And so you can go online and you can find different versions of this. And so sometimes the sounds might be a little bit different. Sometimes the movements might be a little bit different. And that's okay. That's also lets us know that there's no one way to do it, that we're allowed to do things in different ways. and there's a lot of different reasons why there are differences. Like even, back in the day in China, sometimes what would happen is that there would be, say, a certain set of the 6 sounds, and then a new emperor would come in, and because maybe they would have killed the previous emperor. And so then they're saying, well, I'm not going to use their 6 sounds, I'm going to have my 6 sounds. So then we have a new 6 sounds. So, that's where it's like, is one right, is one wrong, or is it just political, So that's where, again, we don't have to worry too much about it. And, I asked my teacher one time, do the sounds mean anything? And she said no. Like, the sounds are just sounds. They're just tones. They're just ways to kind of get vibration going. So we're not even saying specific words necessarily. We're just making sounds. So, again, just to kind of keep a certain lightness and ease to all of this that we're doing, I think is important. Let's see. Also, yesterday was the first day of the 4th phase of summer, so that's something. moving right along. The 5th phase of summer, right? Because the solstice was the 4th phase of summer. So we're in the 5th phase of summer. There's 6 phases total. The name of this phase is called minor heat, because the next phase is going to be called major heat, like the dog days, And so part of the theme of this is, for instance, in the deep, dark winter, there's probably a time when we start to feel like, man, I'm ready for it to be warm. So when we're moving into these like lesser heat and major heat phases, it's when we start to get to the point where it's like, man, I'm ready for it to start cooling down again, because we've gone to the peak. We've had the solstice, like the longest day of the year, as yang as it's going to get. And so now nature is starting to move towards yin. There's still quite a lot of yang. There's still more yang than yin, where we haven't gotten to the equinox yet. We have a ways to go before we get there. So days are still longer than the night, but we've started to move in that direction. And so again, it's kind of built into nature, where it's like, yeah, when you get to an extreme, there's a natural tendency to want to move back in the other direction. And so it's kind of like, yes, summer is great. Things are blooming. It's warm. There's lots of stuff to do. Everybody's getting married. Every weekend you have to go to a different wedding in a different area of the country. It's like all this activity, and it's like, yes, all right, until it starts to be like, okay, I would like it to just calm down a little bit and be less busy and have less things going on. And I'd like my kids to just go to school so I don't have to figure out what to do with them every minute of the day, all day long. So that's like this natural inclination towards some of the yin. We're starting to move in that way. It doesn't mean that we're there and we're just going to go inside and stop everything, but it's like we can honor that feeling. There's nothing wrong with that. It's like, right, we've gone to an extreme. And now we're starting to move into some balance. And it's okay to maybe in the heat of the day when it is so hot, it's like, yeah, maybe I want to find a shady spot and just take it easy and have a mellow day and not have like the busy summer day where it's just nonstop. So that's kind of the themes that's going on there, of like honoring that piece of ourselves that recognizes that, where we've kind of gone one way, and so then there's a balancing back. Which is also nice to remember just in these times, that the nature of the universe is balance, and that, sometimes moving in one direction so far is the necessary thing that then initiates the movement back in a different kind of way. And so feeling that, and even if it goes back the other way, eventually it's going to go so far in one direction that it's going to start trending back that direction as well, Like there's that great story. It's a wonderful story. Some of you have probably heard it before. There's an old farmer, and he's old, and he's got a son, and he's got a horse, and that's like all he has, and that's how he's able to tend the fields and kind of have food to live and all of this. And then one day the horse runs away, and his neighbors are like, oh, horse ran away. That's bad luck, huh? And he's like, we'll see. And the horse is gone a couple days, and then a couple days later, the horse shows back up with 3 more horses that it like became friends with out in the wild. So now he's got 4 horses, and everyone's like, you got 4 horses, that's really good luck. And he's like, well, we'll see. And so then his only son is trying to train those 3 horses to like get them oriented on how to be farm horses, and one of the horses bucks him off and breaks his leg. And the neighbors are like, man, your one son who does all the work just broke his leg. That's really bad luck. And he's like, well, we'll see. And then a couple days later, war breaks out. And so, the army shows up and they're going to recruit all able-bodied young men into the army so they can go fight and most likely be cannon fodder and be killed. And so the neighbors are like, wow, your son had a broken leg, didn't get drafted. Like, that's good luck. It's like, we'll see. So we'll see. There's movement one way or the other. Some people love summer and they never want it to end, but it will. And some people, love winter and just want it to be cold and dark all the time, but that will also shift. So we'll see. Okay. Funny stories. There's a lot of them like that. All right. So now let's move into our 6 sounds therapy Qigong. And we'll do it standing if you prefer to remain seated, or if you'd like to sit anytime during the form, you're welcome to do that. And and we went through the sounds last week. If you don't know the sounds, we're going to make them 3 times every time. So the first time you can just listen, and then you can make the sounds the other times after that. All right? So let's get into it. All right. Thank you all for being here on Zoom. Okay. Need more arms. Good. So, let's just take a moment, find a nice, comfortable standing posture, soften your knees, maybe even bend your knees more than you think you need to, like a nice deep knee bend, and then come out of that slightly, but don't lock the knees. Lift your toes off the ground, find the 3 points of contact, the hard parts of the bottom of your feet. Maybe spread the floor apart a little bit, root into the outer edges of the feet so that you can feel like grounded and rooted and stable, but also very nimble at the same time. And, experiment. Like, you can think about spreading the floor apart, and it's strong, and it's engaged, and it's rooted, and then, back off of that so that it's, not a lot of effort at all, but there's still connection. There's still a root. You can also tune in to the weight in the bottom of your feet, and maybe bringing your weight a little more into the balls of your feet, bringing your weight a little more into your heels, just kind of playing with that forward and backward motion or weight distribution. You can also kind of lean towards one side and then back towards the others, and so it's not like you're swaying your hips, it's more like all of your weight is kind of shifting from side to side. Just experiment, see what things feel like. Even if you wanted to do some circles where you're kind of rolling on the outer edges of your feet all the way around in one direction and back the other way. Like, this is a fully legit Qigong practice, just playing with weight shifting, forward, backward, side to side, round in circles. Like, this brings you into your body, allows you to become more embodied. I think we mentioned previously, there are a lot of research studies in the neuroscience realm showing that, if you're not embodied, it's very difficult to develop certain psychological capacities, like a capacity for empathy. So coming into the body, feeling the feet on the ground, noticing the bend in your knees, noticing your pelvis and how it's oriented, maybe playing with that, tilting it forward and backwards and side to side and making circles. And how does that feel on your knees and on your lower back? Maybe rolling your shoulders up and back. Breathing deeply all the way around the rib cage. Maybe tilting your head side to side, turning, looking over one shoulder, looking up, looking down, gently, slowly, taking your time, not just going through the motions of the movements, but using the movements to bring you into a deeper level of awareness, a deeper level of embodiment. And then just settling into your posture, settling into the alignment of the body and your breath and the focus of your mind. And then let's bring our feet a little closer together. I'll mirror you so you can step your left foot in. You can bring your hands into Diamond Mudra. And just taking a moment in this posture to just begin. Like we've begun a while ago, but now we're beginning again. Beginning the practice of 6 sounds therapy. So soften your knees and sink. Stepping out with the left foot. And then your left arm can come around and just let it come all the way around and then start turning side to side. Ringing the temple bell. Your hands can land around your hips. Bend the knees and straighten them to help the hands move. Get a little more pumping through the leg muscles, pumping the fluids up against gravity, pumping the lymph and the blood back up so it can get into the liver. And we have this nice twisting movement which also helps to wring out the liver. Liver's like a big sponge. And some people's liver, it's like when you leave the sponge at the bottom of the sink for too long and it just gets soggy and gross. Like, there are livers that are like that. So let's wring out the liver so that it can be set somewhere to air out and dry and get clean. And if you want, your hands to come up a little higher to the base of the ribs. You can even come up to the shoulders, whether that's the shoulder joint or the top of the trapezius muscle in between the head and the shoulder. And you can move through any one of these three places. If one feels better to you, you can hang out there. Just try different things. As you turn, you can also look over the shoulder that you're turning towards. You can also do the exact opposite. So as you turn, look over your front shoulder. And then you can also just let your head do whatever it's going to do. As you turn one way, the opposite heel can come off the ground. So you get a little bit further in your rotation without over-rotating your spine. Or you can keep both heels on the ground. You can also, this is kind of hard to describe, but as you turn, the opposite toes can come up, kind of like this. So that's another way of just introducing different wrinkles, different modifications to all of these movements to bring in different sensation, to challenge your nervous system. your coordination, which in Chinese physiology is really presided over by the liver and the gallbladder networks. And then whenever you're ready, you can just let this go and you can unwind. And then let's take our window side hand and we're going to bring the thumb edge just kind of under the chest. And then we're going to bring the mirror hand, the thumb edge, right to the bottom of the rib cage. And then you can massage back and forth. And take a deep breath in so that your rib cage lifts and that lower hand, that thumb, can really kind of dig in under the ribs and massage into that area of the diaphragm. And feel what it feels like. There might be some tenderness in there. There's a lot of tension that can be held in the diaphragm. This is the area of the spleen and the stomach and the pancreas and the liver and the gallbladder, depending on which side you're on. So we're helping to stimulate that area, get some movement in that area. Congestion in the spleen, congestion in the liver, that can be a big deal for a lot of people. Whether that's because of dormant viruses or bacteria, fungus, it accumulates here. So this is another way of wringing out the sponge. And then when you're ready, you can kind of come up and then let it go. And then we'll take the mirror hand, thumb edge under the chest, thumb edge under the bottom of the rib cage, and then massage. Breathe deep. Work your way underneath that rib with the lower hand. You can go kind of quick and vigorous with this. Yeah, Epstein-Barr virus was like a big thing a couple years ago, you know? It was like the reason why everything bad happens. Epstein-Barr tends to hang out in the liver and the spleen. I think nowadays the thing that causes everything bad is mold. Mold can accumulate in the liver and the spleen, so we're flushing it out. Free of charge. No need for thousands of dollars worth of supplements. We just use our innate capacities to heal and to manage our health. And then again, nice deep one, and then out. And then let your hands float out and up. And as you exhale, settle into tree posture, or Wu-Ji posture. So the knees are bent. You know, maybe about deep enough so that the knees are in line with the front of the toes. The hands can be at the face level, or the heart level, or the belly level, whatever works for you. Think about spreading your knees away from each other, not collapsing in, but rolling out onto the outer edges of the feet, still rooting through the big toe mound. Elbows holding elevator doors apart. Back of the head lifting up and back. Breathing in between the shoulder blades. Get active. Feel the sides of the body. Get active. That's the liver area. Feel the outer edges of the legs being activated. That's the gallbladder area. Visualize a tender green color. There's lots of tender green out the window right here. So if you have a view to the outside, tune in to the green. Invite that color into your eyes. Green is the easiest color to see. Invite that color into your liver. And as you do, you can let the hands float back over the liver. You can massage the lower ribs, massaging your liver, softening the liver. And then you can take your thumbs to about the level of your belly button and trace around the waist and find the tip of the 12th rib in the lower back. And with your thumbs, just apply some pressure into that area. That's the backside of the liver, the backside of the diaphragm. And we're going to make the healing sound for the liver, which is shu. And it's like we're going to dredge our liver. That's what's going to take us into the sound. So we'll do a big inhale and then begin the sound as we dredge the liver. So inhale, dredge. Shake it out. And then a big breath in. And exhale. Back into tree posture, Wu-Ji posture. Breathe deep into your liver. Helping to decongest the liver, helping to shake up the things that get stuck in the liver. End-stage liver disease is cirrhosis. That's when your liver becomes really hard. So we want the liver to be soft and supple, like a sponge. We want to shake it free of all of the accumulations, the stuff that we can't let go of, the frustrations that we hold on to, the bitter resentments. Just letting it go. We can be flexible. Like a green branch, you can tie it in a knot and it won't break. You can try to burn it and it won't catch fire. So breathing that tender green, soft, flexible energy into our livers. Taking the thumbs and tracing around the waist, finding the tip of the 12th rib and massaging that area with the thumb. And then we'll dredge the liver and make the healing sound. Inhale. Big breath in. And settling back in to the posture. Feeling your legs like roots. Feeling your arms like branches. Branches are strong, but they're not stiff. They can sway with the winds of change and challenge. It's actually the winds that help the branches to be strong. I think we mentioned a couple weeks ago, they have those biodome experimental places, and inside the trees have to be held up by wires because there's not wind. Without the challenge, the trees don't get strong. It's very interesting. It's like blew my mind when I heard about that. So we're designed to be challenged. We do well to challenge ourselves, to hold postures like this that are a little difficult. So absorbing the energy, the green energy of the universe, the energy of wind and change and challenge and flexibility and strength that comes from having to encounter and endure and adapt and grow and be creative, all of those things. Bringing that into our livers, massaging the liver, and then the hands can come around the waist to the tip of the 12th rib, massage, and then inhale. arms out and up, stepping the feet closer together, and exhale down into Diamond Mudra. And feel the area under your lower rib cage. Feel the chi in that area, the chi in your liver. And then with your intention, you can direct that energy from underneath the lower rib cage up and back into the lungs. So breathe into the back side of the rib cage, all the way from the bottom of your neck all the way down to the base of the rib cage. Fill that space up. Fill up the breath field. The breath field is like the sky, so open and expansive. And then you can sink your knees and open out to the left. Inhale the arms up overhead, palms facing each other. Stretch. And then exhale, relax. The arms can open. Knees can bend. And then we'll inhale again. Stretching the sides of the rib cage. Like use the stretch. Use this movement to bring more breath into the ribs. Fill yourself up like a balloon all the way, and then let it go. And then we'll inhale. Turn the palms down and exhale. Knees can bend, palms come back to back, and then inhale, roll yourself up. Exhale, open. Knees bend, and then inhale, lifting up. Turn the palms down and exhale. Palms back to back. Let's move like this, just a little bit. Inhale, exhale. Palms are up. Inhale. Turn the palms down, exhale. Again. Breathe with all of your lungs. Let your whole body become like a lung. The skin is known as the third lung. So this movement, it's like we're a bellows. We're just pumping breath through every cell of the body, through all of our tissues. This time, we'll inhale up, exhale as we've been doing, inhale back up, and when you exhale, bring your chin towards your chest and wrap your arms around your body, stretch the back side of the rib cage, and then inhale, open. Exhale, palms back to back. In, out, in, and out. This time, wrap your other arm in front, chin to chest, stretch the rib cage, and then inhale, exhale, inhale up, and just exhale the arms out to the sides, and you can look up maybe at a 45-degree angle or just as much as is comfortable for your neck. And then slowly, with your gaze, turn and look at the mirror side hand. Feel that stretch in your neck, and then come back to center. And then look over at the window side hand, stretching in the neck, come back to center. Bring the window hand across, make a beak with your hands and find the spot under your collarbone, and then the other hand comes in. We'll make the healing sound for the lungs 3 times, which is like an S and a Z. Have your teeth just barely touching so you get a vibration that radiates up into your sinuses. 3 times. Inhale. All the way out. Big breath. Exhale, relax. yourself out. Relax. One more time. Push the hands out in front, bring the palms together and back, and then we can send the hands up and around, bring the feet together. Resting in Diamond Mudra, breathing into the backside of the rib cage, filling the lungs, feeling the chi in the lungs, in the upper chest. Invite this energy where we were patting behind into the back of the ribs. Breathe it through your lungs. And then with your intention, you can direct that energy that's in your lungs. Allow it to settle into the center of the chest, the area of the heart. And breathing into your heart, visualizing the shape and the color of your heart. Soften the knees, and then opening up to the left, let your hands float up overhead. And then we'll cross at the wrists, and the hands come down, flowing down, and then uncrossing over the hips, and then down just slightly, not too high, and then the hands come up, the fingers come towards you, palms back to back, and then lead with your fingers as you reach up overhead and stretch through the pinkies. And then let that go. Wrists crossed down the front of the body on either side of the sternum. Uncross over the hips. We don't have to go too deep here, just a little, and then gather up. Fingertips come towards you, palms back to back. Lead with the pinkies. Stretch yourself up. And then again, breathe natural. Going deep, rising up, palms back to back, stretch, and open. So it's like a lotus flower. We're going down into the mud, and from the mud we have this blooming, up and open. You know, the famous Thich Nhat Hanh quote, no mud, no lotus. This mud is full of nutrients, nutriments. And the lotus blooms. Consciousness is clear, not hanging on to any of it. The good, the bad, the neutral. It's just not clinging to anything. Down and then gather, palms back to back, lead with the pinkies, stretch the heart meridian, and bloom. One more time. Stretching up. Blooming, this time bring your palms together, and then the hands float down in front of the heart. Now we'll make the healing sound for the heart, ka. As we do, the lotus will bloom. So nice deep breath in. massage the heart center. Really feel the vibration of the sound in your heart. Palms together, inhale, stretch through your fingers. Massage the heart center. Feel the vibration of the sound in your heart. Inhale. Massaging. Palms can come together. Send the hands up. And then stepping the feet together, hands into Diamond Mudra. And feel the sensation in the center of your chest. Dan Zhong, the center of the altar. Seeing the red color of the heart in the center of the chest. And then with our intention, we'll direct this energy from the heart, allowing it to move straight down into the kidneys. The kidneys are about here in the lower back and really deep in the center of the body, so not necessarily in the back or the front, but like just beneath the heart, quite literally. So breathing deep into the kidneys, visualizing their deep, dark, blue-black color. And then we can bend the knees, open out to the left. And very similar movement to what we were just doing. The hands come up, crossing at the wrists, coming down, uncrossing above the hips. This time we go down a little bit further, like as low as the knees. And then the hands come up, fingertips come in, palms back to back, and same thing, we stretch up, but maybe not as high. And then crossing at the wrists, coming down, uncross above the hips, hips hinge back, down to the level of the knees. Spine is nice and tall, we're not hinging forward, we're sinking, and then gathering up, palms back to back, and then lead with the pinkies, but not as high. We open, crossing at the wrists, down either side of the sternum, uncross, a deeper bend in the legs, gathering, not rising as high with the arms before we open, and again. So, diving down into the depths of the ocean. The kidneys relate to the water element. The big water is the ocean. Very deep, mysterious. They say that we know more about outer space than we do about the ocean. Lots of potential down there. Maybe where life began. One more time, we'll gather up, cross at the wrists, and then this time, hands can come down and they can stop at about the knees. You can brace yourself, and again, nice tall spine, lifting through the back of the head, not hinging forward. And what we're going to do is take a breath in, and then as the chin reaches forward, the hips reach back, bring the chin to your chest, roll yourself up. And again, chin and hips away from each other. Like you're a turtle drinking water. Take your time. Inhale, rolling up. And exhale. So really stretching the neck, but we're also getting a stretch of the whole spine. Let's do two more.
1. As the chin reaches forward, the hips reach away. Chin towards the chest. Slowly roll yourself up. And your hands can come to the sides of your hips. We can make soft fists with the hands. Starting with the left hand, so you can see on Zoom, we're going to unfold the hand. So starting with the index finger, we just let it open up, turn the palm, twist it all the way around, and then gather it back in, starting with the pinky. So you're pulling it in, taking your time. Start with the index finger and thumb, open it up, turn the palm all the way up, and then with the pinky, gather it back in. So back to the left side. So doing this nice and slow. See if you can coordinate the movement. It's a very willful movement. Coordinated, graceful. Working the fingers in this way really works our brains. That connection between our brains and our hands. Hand-eye coordination. Gathering it back in. Other side, one last time, stretch, and then gather it back in. Now you can bring your feet a little closer together, beginning with the left foot. I'll mirror you so we can inhale up. Exhale, point with your toes. Inhale, point with your heel. Make outward circles, 1, 2, 3. Point inward circles, 1, 2, 3. And feel free to have the foot on the ground for balance as needed. We're going to open out to the side. Inhale up. Point with the toes. In with the heel. Outward circles. 1, 2, 3. Point inward. 1, 2, 3. Point. Back to center. We'll do the other side. Inhale. Exhale with the toes. In with the heel. Out. 1, 2, 3. Point. In. 1, 2, 3. Point. Opening out to the side. Inhale. Toes. In. Heel. Outward circles. 2, 3. Point inwards. 1, 2, 3. Point. Come back to center. Whew. Now we'll make the healing sound for the kidneys, which is Chui. And again, I'll demonstrate real quick. We're going to inhale and exhale, and then inhale up, tuck the thumbs into our fingers, and we come forward. We do not pitch forward this way. The hips pull back. Hips are above or even behind the feet. Arms are out to the side, head isn't falling, back of the head lifted, stretching away from the tailbone, which is reaching back. So we have a long, strong spine as we make this sound, feeling the lower back active, feeling a stretch down the hamstrings, activating the kidney and the urinary bladder meridians. All right, just want everyone to be safe in their lower back. So, let's massage our lower dantians. I'll do it from the side to begin. Inhale the arms out. Exhale. The hands cross and a big breath in. Chuck the thumbs in the fingers, hips back. To the lower dantian, massage the sea of Qi. Kidneys are our root organ, one of some consider the most important organ, related to our bones, the integrity of our skeletal systems, and central nervous systems. It's hard because it should be. So again, inhale, exhale. Big breath in. Chui. Massage the lower dantian. Breathe. One more time. In, out. Big breath in. Bring your hands around your waist, give your lower back and kidneys a little direct attention. And then let's gather up, back to center. Feel your kidneys, feel the area of your lower back, your lower ribs. Breathe deep into your kidneys. And then with your awareness, invite that energy from the kidneys up and forward into the area of the solar plexus, beneath the bottom of the sternum and the top of your belly button. Visualize that golden yellow color of the solar plexus, of the third chakra, the golden yellow color of the pancreas and the stomach and the spleen. Keeping your feet where they are, inhale the arms up overhead, palms together. Exhale the hands down to the heart. Inhale. As you exhale, send the hands, fingertips up over to the left. The hips go the other direction. And then inhale through center. Fingertips up as you push to the other side. Inhale and exhale. So finding a nice snake or dragon-like undulation. As the hands move one way, the hips move the other way. Taking your time, inhaling, exhale, in and out. One more. Coming to center. The hands can come down and we'll open the hands and step out to the left. And then exhale, the hips back, spine is nice and tall, knees move away from each other as we gather from the earth. Inhale up, exhale. Inhale, gathering. Exhale, down to the solar plexus, in and out. In and out. One more full cycle. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, in, and exhale the hands down to your solar plexus. We'll make the healing sound for the spleen and the stomach, which is ooh. You can make small circles as we make the sound, and if you'd like, you can bounce on your heels gently. 3 times. Big breath in. Inhale. One more time. Relax the hands down and then gather everything to the center. And exhale. Feeling the chi in the solar plexus. Breathing that golden yellow energy into your digestive organs, your whole digestive system. Triple warmer. Soften the knees, step out to the left, the arms come out to the sides, and then we'll take the mirror hand underneath and the window hand up top, and then leading with this lower hand, it comes up close to the body as the upper hand presses palm down, and now the upper hand presses palm up, and we stretch, look over that open shoulder. Stretching, breathing. And then exhale, turn the palms towards each other. And slowly, it's like you're pressing down with this upper hand, and you're pressing up with the lower hand. So inhale, stretch, looking over the shoulder, palms facing away. Exhale. Pressing down with the upper hand, pressing up with the lower hand. Big inhale. Stretch and relax. Long, slow exhale until you're ready to inhale. Press. Stretch. One more on each side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now the hands come together. Drop the hands and bring the feet together. The hands come up overhead. And we're going to make one circle up high for the heavens. And one circle in the middle for the biofield, and one circle down low for the earth. And then again, gather up, making an upper circle for the heart and the lungs. Another circle for the spleen and the stomach and the liver and the gallbladder. And a lower circle for the kidneys, the urinary bladder, the intestines. And again, inhale. And a circle for everything and everywhere. And for our community, our friends and family. And for ourselves. Hands fold over the lower dantian. We'll make the sound for the triple warmer, she, 3 times. Gently swaying side to side as we make it. Inhale. Smile when you make the sound. Inhale. The triple warmer is what integrates all the different organ systems into one whole. It's what integrates us as an individual into the universe. So feeling the vibration in your whole body, in the whole universe. One more time. Inhale. You can bring your hands around your waist and just let your arms relax and take a moment to just drift. Feel the medicine that you've just made for yourself in your body, and feel that medicine reverberating out around you into the universe. We are endorphin pharmacists, medicine makers and distributors, all the time. So you can relax your stance. Let's rub our palms together. Rub our faces up and down a couple times. Back and forth over the top of the head. Down the back of the neck and around. Over the chest. Lower ribs onto the belly. Around the waist to the lower back and the kidneys. And then we'll draw our hands out. Shake them out. We'll pat up one arm. And down. Up the other arm. And down. And then around and down. Up the front. And again, around and down. And back up. Maybe a little jiggle. And let's do 3 deep sighs of relief. Big breath in. One more. All right. Good. Healthcare, self-care, self-stewardship. We don't have to rely on anyone else to get it, to have it, to do it. That's freedom. All right, so thank you all for being here. Have a wonderful week. Let me know if you'd like a recording, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. All right. And thank you all for practicing with me. Right, we'll see you next time. Or unless there's a question. Yeah. Oh, you're muted.
How about that? Better?
Yes.
All right. What's the sound for the heart again? It wasn't quite clear to me.
Oh, sure. It's ka.
No,
Kind
no,
of
no.
like-
I'm sorry. The lungs.
The
The
lungs
sound-
is, yeah, the lungs is like a S and a Z, like a Z.
Got it.
Yeah,
Got
and
it.
you want to have your teeth create that vibration so that you can feel the vibration up into the sinuses. And it's that vibration with that long exhale, that's what helps to generate a lot of nitric oxide. And nitric oxide, not nitrous oxide, nitric oxide, has a lot of health benefits for the lungs. It's antiviral. It helps the lung tissue to be more elastic and stretchy. It helps oxygen and carbon dioxide to exchange, from getting from the blood into the tissues and from the blood out of the body. So a lot of good reasons to get the vibration in the sinuses.
Sounds like a miracle drug.
It is, and we make it every time we breathe. Yeah. All right.
Thanks, Elvin. Thank you.